Hello everyone, my name is Olutokun Emmanuel and welcome to the Blueprint Africa by Guinness. Today I'll be talking on a very important subject which I call living diligently. Diligence is a very common word that most of us are quite familiar with, but then it's one of those concepts that are quite difficult to adhere to, and the reasons are not far-fetched. It is because it requires some forms of commitment from us, from you and me, and from pretty much anyone that desires to achieve anything meaningful in life. What is diligence? Diligence is about being persistent at a task or a project. It's about focusing on a particular thing that has been placed in your care or you desire to do and ensuring that you see it through to the end. To be very honest, we live in a world whereby it is very easy to do nothing. It is very easy to be lazy. It is very easy to consume a lot of time watching movies. It is very easy to procrastinate or sleep or even spend tons and tons of time scrolling through your feed on social media, or on Facebook or Instagram or on Twitter. Just engaging in conversations that really do not add any value to your life, right? And it's in the same vein, it is difficult to write, to think, to work on a project, to actually engage in tasks that would require, you breaking a sweat, or engaging in tasks that in the real sense of it are not exactly desirable, tasks that would require you to create. It's not exactly easy because they are strenuous. Because naturally, as humans, we're lovers of pleasure and enjoyment. We naturally gravitate to things that shield us, that keeps us in a comfort zone, that ensures that we don't stress ourselves, that ensures that we don't break a sweat. We would naturally gravitate towards those things. But other things that would push us forward, that would push us beyond our limits, that would push us out of our comfort zone, we tend to shy away from those things. But if you look at it objectively, you realize that those things that we tend to shy away from are the ones that deliver the most results. They're the ones that has the potentials of even pushing our lives forward. So for example, take social media that we most likely spend so much time on it. Most of the content creators that you see spend a lot of hours thinking and creating those contents that you consume in less than 60 seconds or in less than 60 seconds. They spend a lot of time creating it, and you are just there consuming those content. And when you're done, you go back to another platform and spend another time consuming. But then the time, the investment is where diligence comes to play. Being diligent means being alive to your responsibility. To be very honest, it's a very important key in success, in achieving your goals in life. Let's take, for example, mark all the successful men you've seen. And by success, I'm saying in terms of inventions, in terms of scalable business, in terms of impact, whether nationally, globally, locally. Look at every one of them. You will figure that there's a common thread that runs through all of them. You realize that they have a sense of purpose, a sense of direction, and they have a great work ethic. They are the type of people that when they set their hearts to do something, they do not rest until they see it to completion. That is diligence. It is about you putting your heart to do something and focusing on it, staying on that course, and not allowing anything to pull you back, not allowing anything to discourage you, not allowing anything to pose as an obstacle. And even if it poses as an obstacle, you take it off. Right? There's a part of the scripture that talks about diligence, and that can be found in Proverbs 22 verse 29. It said, "Seest thou a man that is diligent in his work?" It says that he will stand before kings and not mere men, meaning that the works of his hands, the things that he does, would elevate him to the spotlight. The things that it does will elevate him to the spotlight. If you look at other translation, there's one of them that actually talks about competence. That when you find a man of competence, he is preferred amongst others. Why? Because what he brings to the table is different from what others are doing. What it brings to the table is not just the skills, which we know, it's not just the talent or skills, which we know makes ways for people, but also the difference, the consistency and the persistence in ensuring that talent that he has received delivers value. That talent that he has received is being used for the right things. That talent or that skill that has been deposited into him is being channeled into the right thing and not just misused, right? That is one thing you would find from them, because once that is being able to be done, once that is done, he elevates that kind of person into the spotlight. I mean, I like to tell my friends that a man that is crawling is way ahead of a man that is sitting. A man that is crawling, taking baby steps, is way ahead of a man that is sitting, because through that baby steps, he has moved inches forward. And a man that is sitting is just in one position, is stagnant. And to be very, and the reality of things is this: if you're not appreciating, you're depreciating. If you're not moving forward, you're one way or the other moving backwards. Yeah, right? So if you're not appreciating, you're depreciating. So a man that is crawling, while it might look like it's a very slow step, a very sluggish one, is better than the one who is not taking any step at all. And that's where diligence comes to play. It's about consistency in your actions. It's about consistency in the things you have set out to do. It's about consistency in discoveries of your purpose, right? Now, personally, I have sort of like a mantra or a value system that sort of guides the way I approach things. And I sum them up in just 3 words. The first one is priority. Now, I like to tell myself that with all the things confronting me, with all the tasks, with all the projects, with all the jobs that are confronting me, which one is priority right now? Which one should I invest my energy on? Which one should I focus on? So through all those things, I try to sieve it out. Then I pick the one that is of importance at the moment, is of importance at that moment. Then I focus on it, which is the next thing. I focus on it. And what I do is that once I have settled in, I have zeroed in on this particular item, meaning that this is what I want to do. I have considered this to be of utmost importance at this moment, at this period, and at this phase. And that's what I'm going to focus on, which leads me to the final step, which is perseverance. So priority, focus, and perseverance. And our perseverance is where I nurture this project, I nurture the idea, I stay with it, I stay on it, I ruminate on it, I meditate on it, I refine it, I keep going at it, I keep going through it to see what needs to be done. Now, I do not just back out because of a flare. I do not easily get discouraged. I keep pushing to see what can become of it, because number one, I have already concluded that this is priority, and I have also decided to focus on it. So I'm just going to persevere through that process, and that is diligence. Now you would ask me, so how can I live a diligent life? How can I be diligent? Is it even possible to be diligent? I mean, the answer is it's a resounding yes. And I'll just outline some points that I believe can help you to live diligently. Number one is to refine your mind. You need to recondition your mind. You need to resolve in your mind that you can actually live a diligent life. Because as humans, we are guided by the decisions we make. The decisions you made yesterday led you to where you are today. And the decisions you're going to make today will lead you to where you're going. So we're products of the decisions we make. So we need to refine our mind to be able to, see things from a different perspective. We need to conquer our minds. So for some of us, we have resolved in our mind that we cannot be committed to a particular thing. We've resolved in our mind that, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Maybe this life is not just made for me. Maybe this work is not just made for me. Maybe this new technology is not just made for me. So because of that, I'm going to back down. That's not the spirit. That's not how you should do it. That's not how you should see it. You need to refine your mind to see things from a different perspective. You need to generate that love and that passion and that desire for whatever task has been placed in your care. Because if there's no love, if there's no passion, if there's no interest in it, all you will just do is you figure they are just running in cycles, or running in a circle, right? You will just be moving from pillar to pole. There won't be any sense of purpose. And that's one of the things that is missing in some of the activities that people do today. There is no sense of purpose. And when there is no sense of purpose, there is literally not going to be a sense of direction, because you're just taking it as it comes. And like somebody used to tell me, it's anything goes. It shouldn't be a life of anything goes, but everything starts from the mind. Once you are able to settle in your mind about what you want to do, then you have made a big step. The next point is to be organized. Have a plan and follow it. Stick to the plan. And to make it easy for you, you could, every day when you wake up, try and draw out a list of things you want to do and then stick to them through the day. Because what that helps you to do is it helps you to remove and eliminate clumsiness and distractions. You begin to value your time more. You begin to value every moment more because there is a plan. And at the end of the day, you can also review it, look at what has been done and what is next to be done, what is left to be done. Right? That way, you're living a life that is quite organized, and because of that, it is focused. You're not just doing it as haphazardly as it comes, which is terrible eventually, because it's going to be a time bomb eventually, right? So be organized, have a plan, follow it, just stick to the plan and eliminate, and that way you can eliminate clumsiness and distractions. The third one is stay motivated and positive. For some people, there's this belief that everything in this world is all out to frustrate us. The economy, the government, the environment, everything just looks like it is all out to frustrate us. And like somebody once, made a joke, it was like that. It's just like sometimes you step out of your house and say you want to get fresh air, and before you know it, you've exhausted all the cash with you. Why? Because things are quite expensive. So it looks like every system is literally geared, to make you look depressed, to make you look downcasted. Maybe there's no power supply, or you don't have the right tools, or whatever it is. It looks like things are just not working. They're just not going right. But now this is the point where you need to encourage yourself, stay motivated, try and create some sort of perspective to things and see things from a different light. The truth of the matter is this: in every crisis, there's always opportunity. So you have to bear in mind that where you see problem, know that others are seeing opportunities in it. Where you are sulking in sorrow, others are actually moving in strength. So you need to join that. You need to encourage yourself. You can read books, listen to uplifting messages, encourage yourself from the Lord, expand your worldview, right? Because the reality of things is this: when you're not motivated, you decline. Have a way to, understand yourself and learn the patterns that helps you motivate yourself or stay positive. Just be an optimist, right? Just be an optimist. It's a difficult thing to do, but it's one that has actually helped me in my journey. I do not see things from the eyes of impossibility. Every time I approach a new project or a new task, I tell myself that, how can these things be better, right? I look at it from a thing of it can be done, right? I encourage myself. I don't necessarily place my joy in the systems, in the environment, but I try my best to stay motivated, to stay positive, to encourage myself through the process, because I know that one way or the other, it's gonna be helpful. It's gonna pay off, right? And when you're not motivated, even when you see opportunities, you would most likely see them as obstacles, because you've not reconditioned your mind, to see it as it should be, as it should be seen, right? The fourth point is overcome procrastination, and this is pretty straightforward. Don't give in to undue pleasure, and the easiest way to overcome procrastination is to just do it. That's the thing. Don't push it forward. If you need to do something, just do it. It's a difficult ask, but just do it. Don't spend so much time thinking about it that you eventually do not do anything, or say, I'm going to do it later, because tomorrow really never comes. So just do it. Next point is to value your time, right? Value your time. Have a sense of urgency to everything around you. We live in a fast-paced environment where things are happening quicker than a button, quicker than you can even blink your eyes, right? It means that you need to have a sense of urgency. You need to be ready. You need to value your time and value the time of those around you, right? Respect yourself, respect your time, and then have a plan of what you want to do. Stick with it, right? Stick with it and keep going on what you want to do. It makes life a lot easier. It makes those that even come in contact with you to respect you, right? The next point is to be a good steward of the talent and opportunities that you've received. You need to bear in mind that God has given you this talent, and He expects you to be a good steward of it. If you recall the story of the talents in the Bible, there was one who thought it best that, why not just keep this thing that my master has given to me till he comes? And when the master came, he called him what? A foolish servant, because he didn't multiply it. While the others, they made good use of it. So make good use of the things that God has given to you. That way, when you bear in mind that, yes, God has given me this skill, and I'm not going to kill it, I'm not going to misuse it, I'm going to use it to glorify Him, and I'm going to be diligent in doing that, right? And the next point is to give your best always. The Bible says in Romans 12 verse 11 that not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, and serving the Lord. Not slothful in business. It's a very powerful word. Not slothful in business, not handling things of importance anyhow, and then thinking the grace of God would cover it. It is very important that you give your best always. Like I always say, I do the possible and I leave the impossible for God to do, right? And we listen to my final point, which is be fervent in the Spirit. Pray always, particularly pray in the Spirit, right? Bible says, he that speaketh in an unknown tongues edifies himself. Albeit in the Spirit, he speaks mysteries. Another version says he speaks intimate mysteries, right? You need to edify your spirit, to be geared up, to focus, to approach the demands of the day. And I believe that the more you keep to this, the more you're persistent, at task, at things you really want to do, the more you live a life of diligence. Pretty simple. It's a life of action. It's a life whereby you do not want downtime, right? Whereby you set your heart towards something and you do it. And I believe that as you make a commitment to do this, the Lord would grant you the strength and the grace to accomplish every task that you have set your heart to do. In Jesus' name, amen.